Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. I appreciate it. Let's keep it going. Donate to the Super Chat. Donate to the PayPal. Donate to the Cash App. It's your contributions and your donations that'll cause for this platform to grow. Let our voice be the voice, the preeminent voice in Black America. Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Dennis Sperling. I want to welcome you all back. Number one thing, if you can hear me, hit the number one button. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody. And we got a lot of new followers here. This is not the way that I planned on getting my channel up. Actually, Kevin Samuels had given me a lot of different, ideas about getting my channel up. And he was basically saying, I need to get a better microphone, which I got. And I also need to use thumbnails. And so I've been doing that. But lo and behold, this is not something that I wanted to do, but here we are. And I wanted to give you guys an update on Kevin. And I have a very special guest that's going to be chiming in a little bit later. Hit the KS button if you appreciate it. This will be, breaking news to a certain degree. But either way, I want to just say this. Hit the KS button if you can hear me. Make sure, okay, so the sound is good. Kevin is home. He's back home with his mother. Kevin Samuels is back home with his mother. And that's the most important thing. And that's the thing that we all wanted, that he is back home with his mother. Now, I have someone that I've been communicating with over the past week, who Kevin often mentioned, and someone that, even over this past week, I've shared some laughs and some tears with, and that is Jeff, his best friend, who we often mention. And so, Jeff, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Can you guys hear Jeff? If you can hear Jeff, hit the number one button. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Dennis. I'm doing good.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to fill in everybody on, where Kevin is, I'd appreciate that, and how his mom and his daughter are doing. We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And first I want to thank you for the support you've shown him and his family by being a guide to this, because no one ever plans for stuff like this to happen, and when it does, especially unexpectedly, to have people step up like yourself that have been willing to give counsel, give support, give professional advice like you have, and this has been really helpful to his mom and his daughter, and they just really appreciated it. So thank you for that.
Well, no, go ahead.
What I was say, what I was say is Kevin has been made it back to Oklahoma, and his mom and daughter are finalizing everything for his services and all that's being done. And like any family, any mother who has had to bear a child, she's it's a tough time. It's a very tough time for her. It's her only child, right? So not only is she a mother, it's an only child situation, and so they're trying to make the best of it. And his daughter is as well. Neither one of them have been part of Spotlight. His mom is not even aware of Kevin's notoriety of his YouTube success. And it's been fun I say fun, for
Mhm.
her to kind of discover
Yeah.
and kind of believe that her son is famous. It's it's a process, but she's getting through. She's she's a strong woman, so she's making it.
She is a very strong woman. I've spoke to Miss Beverly several times, and she's a very strong woman. She comes from a generation of very strong women, and I'm just the thing with me is like I take friendship very seriously, and when somebody else calls you their friend, then you need to answer that call. And the Bible says, well, the old saying is that a friend in need is a friend indeed, and you stepped up the same way, and you and I working together, me making phone calls and making sure the press is held at bay, and you doing everything you did. Jeff was dynamic. You guys don't understand how much Jeff has done over the past almost week now. Jeff has stopped everything he's doing. He's had to fly out to where Kevin Samuels was living. He and Kevin's daughter did everything they needed to do to secure his property and make sure all that was safe, because you got fans out here, right, Jeff? And the fans are wild. But man, you're definitely you're the friend that I understand why Kevin talked about you so much, and why he loved you and why he spoke about you, and sometimes you don't choose your friends. Like, I didn't choose Kevin Samuels as a friend. He chose me, but he always would talk
Hmm.
about me on this show. So I can't make him out to be a liar. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And eh, eh, you know, I- anyway, Jeff, what else is what else is next? What's going on next? And I know we know, and there's some things we don't want to talk about, of course, but how are you dealing with this?
You know, it's been a up and down week, man. Kevin and I spoke uh, Tuesday night. We talk every week, couple times a week.
Yeah.
He called me before he go live, different things like that. But you know, this week we shared a lot of different things that are going on, and uh, one thing for Kev and I through this growth of his channel and his success is he would call me to. If you ever hear him on the show, he always say, "Look, he need to be level set me, level set me, level set me." And he, though his popularity has grown, you know, he didn't flaunt it. People may think, yeah, he was an image consultant, so he had to have an image, and he kept his image, and he worked with people on a level like a lot of the type of people he worked with, and some of them by name. Um, but when it came to him as a human being, as just a guy, he was a kid from Oklahoma, and he told it to you. I'm a kid
Yeah.
from Oklahoma. I went to Millwood High School. He went to a small high school, a small graduating class, and he didn't ask for this, man. He didn't ask for it. He said, "Man, this is my calling,
Mm.
and if it's my calling, I gotta answer the call." And he answered the call, and every week he tell me "Man, I just don't believe it. I don't believe it, but I'm doing it." I said, "Yeah, you're doing it." And his North Star, that people, if you listen to his show, because understand, other people don't realize he had a show, but he told truth in his show. People think he was talking to people. No, he had to entertain you in order to get you to listen, just like a comedian does. Like he does things in there to get you to stay engaged. But he wanted to educate people. His North Star was always true, and he told it every show. He said, "I want to make families stronger. I want to bring the black family back together. I want to bring black men, black women back together." And sometimes we need a wake up call. He gave men a wake up call first. He was a man. He woke men up first. But women need to be woke up as well. So he tried to have a wake up call, and because of the wake up call, he took the heat for it. But that's okay. Um, that it had to be. He felt it had to be done, but he didn't do anything that wasn't needed for the community, and he stayed true to his North Star was to make the community better. And for those like yourself, like when he told me about you getting together with your wife, and this before he even put it out there to the world, he's like, man, I started this group and I got people coming to them and I got these people making connections. He said, this is crazy. And he said that I'm not a matchmaker. This is what I do. But he started that group because he wanted things like you and your fiance to get together. And that was just the hope of it. It was a hope. It wasn't even like an intention. It was just a hope. Hey, people could have conversation and not the scream fest that you see online.
Right.
Like people who really have something to provide to each other, and we can bring people of like mind together to have civil discourse conversation. And so, you know, he started something. He started a legacy, and because I've seen it grow, you know, like you said, I pretty much stopped a lot of my world to make sure that we hang on to this legacy, because his legacy is going to be something that lives in perpetuity, and we've got to ensure it. We've got to make sure it stands strong, because when the noise dies down and people can go in a quiet corner and not be mad at Kevin Samuels and go, you know what? Dang, that brother was telling me the truth, and I just didn't want to listen because I was mad at the way he said it, or I was mad at, you know, he didn't have the right inflection in his tone. But maybe, and just maybe he was right about something I can make my life better. If I make one thing better in my life, maybe it'll get me where I want to be. And that's all he was trying to do, is help you realize you could be better. I could be better. And if he could do that, I think he's done it in spades. He brought the world to a place where we can have a better conversation. And you know, he did something. He took on the screaming and the vitriol, so maybe others won't have to take on as much vitriol. You know, he knew he was going to the top of the mountain and taking the arrow, and they unloaded on him. They've been unloading on him for the last few days. You know, celebrities, people don't know him, but it's okay. You know, he I don't think he was a martyr, but he knew what he was taking on. He took the bullet, and he knew he was going to take them. He knew it before average at best, and when average at best happened, it just is.
You know, the thing, Jeff, is I know Kevin can take it. I could take it, you know, but the reason that I have a problem is because his mom and his daughter, this elderly lady from Oklahoma and this young lady, this young girl who's trying to graduate from college, they're having to read about these horrible things that these people are saying. You're busy your boots on the ground. You're trying to help the mom. You're trying to console her. You're trying to gather up everything. I'm sending you text message about call this lawyer and call that lawyer and you got to do this and do that. Somebody has to stand in the gap, you know, and beat these folks back, because I don't want, you know, people are asking me what my motivation is, and they can't understand that it's purely friendship. Like, this is my friend. I'm already rich, guys. I've been successful a long time, but this is my friend's legacy. And legacy, what you find when you already have everything, is that your legacy is the most important thing to you. And I don't want them destroying Kevin Samuels' legacy, because that's going to outlive his mortal body, and it has. And I don't think people get that, Jeff.
Mm-hmm. No, you're exactly right. He had, people don't understand the amount of work he put in, and Kevin, you know, I told you before, you know, he did not sleep. I mean, to understand people, to understand who he was behind the scenes, there was no glitz and glamour to his life. If he wasn't on the show, he fielded calls, and he helped people. He was helping people. You know, his show, you know, from the YouTube and Instagram, like there's money coming in there. He didn't have to field one-on-one calls anymore, but he did. He helped working people one-on-one. His shows made more money than the one-on-ones did. Let's just be real about it. But he wanted to make sure people who wanted real help one-on-one, he would have real conversations with them. But this legacy thing here, this is something that, you know, he didn't prepare for, unfortunately. because he was working. Quite honestly, I mean, he didn't stop long enough to secure everything. So we're fixing it. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're going to fix it. And I was just glad that he had made friends in this space like yourself, because I reached out to you. If we're going to keep
Yeah.
it, I reached out to you to help. It wasn't you come looking. I came looking for you. I reached out to you. I made the connection to you. I asked for your help. That was what I did. This was not a Dennis Sperry trying to help, come over here. I proactively reached out to you. I was trying to reach out because I knew you guys through him. I knew about your meetings. I knew what y'all were trying. I knew what his plan was behind the scenes, and I knew you played an integral role in it. So I knew, because of his friendship, because I knew about the birthday he spent with you,
Yeah.
and the trip y'all did in New York. Because of that, that meant that you were important to him. So I knew, hey, I'm about to ask this man, can he help? And here's the deal: is you didn't have to say yes. So let's just be like, you didn't have to say yes. You could be like, man, you know what? No, I don't want, I'm good. I'm like, you said you got your money, you got your stuff, you're good. So when a person can step up without without receiving anything out of it, not trying to get anything out of it, you want to help his mother and his daughter, and they need help. They need help because this is a legal thing. This is a loss thing. This is when you lose somebody. This week has been traumatic for her. I
Yeah.
mean, she did not know her son was as famous as he was. She's fielding calls from, magazines and TV stations and all these kind of things. And she thinks her son is a guy that comes to her house and wears sweatpants and sleeps on the couch and, and she thinks my son is just almost a bum, because when I see him, he's wearing sweatpants because he's at home. When your mama's house, you're at home. So he's his mama's, right? That's what it is. And so she had no idea. So when this happened, she doesn't know that, like you said, we had to do some things in Atlanta. We had to take care of that stuff. I had to, get with his daughter and work with her, and she's having a tough time too. And just grieving is enough. Not trying to deal with people's assets like this and their estate. Like, this is a big deal, and you just want to deal with, like, it's enough to try and bury somebody and bury your son and your dad, and then and to have to think about that he's a celebrity, an international. And I mean, her dad, another deal. She didn't. His mom said he's internationally known. He is worldwide famous.
Yeah.
He didn't have to be on TV to be worldwide famous. He is worldwide famous,
And they love him
and
worldwide. They love him. I've
I
been
love him worldwide.
Yeah. I've been receiving
Yeah, people.
videos and from Jamaica, Australia, the UK, Germany. It's just phenomenal, and I'm just so happy that we have had some really positive responses from so many people, and so we appreciate those. And I want to definitely make sure we show our appreciation for those people. And I'm just here doing my job. I'm drawing fire away from Kevin Samuel's mom and daughter. You want me to be the bad guy? I'll be the bad guy. I told you guys before on my podcast, I embrace being the bad guy. It was what I was born to do. But anyway, Jeff, what else? Tell us some more about how Kevin perceived his fame when he realized he was famous. Like, what was his I don't know, what was his first impression of it?
He when average at best, this is funny because it's like that's the moment, right? Average at best is
Mm-hmm.
the moment. But when average at best happened, um, he's been planning for it. Honestly, he's been planning for it for over 2 years. Not that particular video, but for something was going to go big.
Mm-hmm.
And when he called me, he says, "Man, it's well, World Star again." I was like, "Again?" And I looked. I was like, "Oh." So I called him. I said, "Man," I said, "You ready?" I said, "No, are you ready?" Because I mean, that was a big video. I said, "Are you ready?" And he said, "Man," he said, "Yeah, I'm ready." I said, "Okay." It's like when the horse breaks out the barn. I mean, the horse is out the barn now. It's
Yeah.
on. But people don't realize. I mean, I was always back behind him. He always talked to me in the backside. And I would tell him, I said, he was so humbled about, he didn't want to believe the notoriety. But I would tell him, I said, you can't find anybody that you can find on YouTube, Instagram. Here's the deal, I challenge the audience even. Go find a celebrity right now that goes live on Instagram or on YouTube. Pick your favorite celebrity. And if you can find one of them that will have over 10,000 viewers at one video, I'll be surprised. You'll blow my mind because I haven't found one yet. He had every video. Every time he went live, he was up to 8,000, 10,000, 16, 20,000 viewers live. And it wasn't because he was up there trying to call somebody a name or call them, say they were overweight. No. People were trying to hear what he had to say because he had something to say. He had a message. Yeah. When messengers speak, the message can't be, you can't drown out the message from it wasn't the messenger. He said it. It's not me, it's the message. The message was bigger than him, and he knew it. And when you talk to him afterwards, he's like, yeah, man, I don't know, man. It's just, it's just me. I'm just a regular guy, but I can't believe it. And he was amazed. He knew the message needed to be said. He knew he was going to, at this point, he was going to be a messenger. And he lived it. He lived in it, not for the notoriety, not to be seen on YouTube, because you knew, like, you were with him personally. If he was about fame and notoriety, when you were out with him, I didn't have to be out with him. I knew what he did when he was out. He was humble. He sat in the back of restaurants. He sat in the dark corners. COVID was a blessing, not because of people watching, but because he could wear a mask and not be seen. Because he wanted to move around. He wanted to move amongst the people. And if he saw him, he said it. Give me a fist bump. He didn't, he wasn't trying to clout chase. He wasn't trying to take pictures with people. He just wanted to do right. And he was happy to see when people said, man, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The negativity just told him he was doing a good thing. And from his point of view, man, he lived up until the day he died doing what he loved. And that was trying to help people better themselves. The detractors will say what they want to say, but he had every day, I can tell you this, every day, even during Thanksgiving this past year, during Christmas, he fielded one-on-one calls, not stuff that you saw on YouTube. I'm saying one-on-one consult. Why? I gotta tell people, ask yourself, why would a man that is making and doing what he's doing on YouTube field a call during Christmas and during Thanksgiving?
So you tell me he was fielding calls on Christmas Day, talking to people.
Talking to people.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and don't tell me he needed to go buy something. He didn't need to buy nothing. He had enough. He had enough clothes.
What would Kevin want to tell? You knew him best. I mean, what would Kevin want his followers and his subscribers to know right now? What message do you think, based on all of y'all's conversations and you knowing him, and there's so much more, you guys used to, y'all were buddies. He talked about you, and I know, what would he want his followers and friends and subscribers to know right now as far as his legacy and moving forward with all that he taught them?
I think I would say this. I would say Kevin would say, level yourself up, level up, be a better version of yourself. No man is perfect. He wasn't perfect. He showed you he wasn't perfect by leaving up those old videos. He says, I'm not perfect. He said, and he would say, we build this plane as we fly it. Wherever I'm at, wherever you're at, if you're a follower of Kevin Sedgwick, if you're not a follower of Kevin, if you hate Kevin, he wanted you to be better. He wanted everybody to level up. So take the time to find out what it is for you to level yourself up. And he believed that, a better shirt, present yourself in a better way. Look in the mirror when you get up in the morning. If you look good, smell good, you feel good, you do good. It's kind of his motto. So he lived, he did it himself. If he tried to give an example of, I'm not a perfect man. I never was, never claimed to be, never complained, professed to be a great, perfect person. I'm just a guy that's trying harder and trying to do better. And he would ask everybody here, be a better you. Take take ownership and onus to not get into fights with other people. Don't get caught up in this YouTube, wherever, vitriol with people, even in your family. Just be better. And when you be better and be a better example, help somebody else be better. You try to make your life better. You do that. You actually try to show someone to be a better brother, be a better sister, be a better mother, be a better father. You be better. Be committed to yourself. Be committed to your family. I think that's the thing he wanted to do. Don't think that he felt like he had given up hope. He was hopeful. He was so hopeful for us all, and he was about to how I want to say this. He was about to explode this manosphere, not for himself, but for Dennis and other guys like yourself. Like that meeting that he had with you guys, he and I had talked about that happening over a year ago.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he hadn't known you. Here's the deal is, but when he reached out to you, he's been watching you. Here's the thing is, yeah, Kevin watched. If he had reached out to somebody, a content creator, he'd watch them. He knew everything about them because when he didn't sleep, he was watching. He was listening, and he wasn't listening to himself. He was listening to creators, and he was discerning whether this was somebody I want to put inside the conglomerate. And that's what we talked about. This is a conglomerate. This is going to be massive. This is a huge network of successful people that we're going to build up inside this man's content and build something that quite honestly hasn't been built yet. There wasn't, he talked about the not just the ministry, but the Black YouTube network. Well, the network has to be something that encompasses every aspect of life. That's why, MTR, yourself, and the other attorney, that you guys were just the first kind of pieces that he was adding in to what he was wanting to level up this year. There was a whole thing this year was going to be made up of, and you guys were the first pieces, man. And him taking you guys to show you what it could be, opening everyone's eyes up. There's a whole other world that he had. It wasn't, Kevin would say it. People just didn't pay attention. We thought he wanted to be in front of the camera. He didn't.
Really?
He was trying to not be in front of the camera. Yeah, he didn't. He was trying to get out from in front of the camera. He did not want to be the front man. So he wanted to be the puppet master.
So that's why he was going. He was bringing us in. He was going to have. So okay. So I'm going to do the infrastructure. He's going to be behind the camera and have MTR and lead attorney be out front. Was that his plan?
Absolutely. He wanted to have. He was trying to facilitate it to where he didn't have to be the guy in front. And that was the other deal about making sure, whether it was just you guys, but everyone that was going to come on board.
Right.
You had to be of a certain ilk of a person, of a man, but you had to have a certain, not just audience, but a certain thing to bring to the table for the team. Mm-hmm. And because of that was going to then, facilitate the growth of the network beyond just saying, buy my book, buy my program. No. Like that's small. That was small thinking. He had something much bigger and planned. And you guys were going to be some of the first entry to this network. And it's unfortunate that didn't get completed. But the fans, the people that love him, people that hate him, I didn't care which one it was. The man spoke a truth of what he saw needed to occur for everybody. And if you take the time to listen, for those that have listened, they got it. For those that keep listening, Don't get it. And I'll be honest with you guys. So here's another thing. The fight you like saw Kevin have online. I was one of his first fighters. He and I sat up many nights fighting over some of the things he first had said because I didn't get it.
Mhm.
I didn't get it.
You were telling
And
me you and your fiance oftentimes had some disputes about what Kevin had to say. Is that how that happened too?
well, that was and that was later. This
Hmm.
was early days. This is what he was taking on the men.
Hmm.
And I was going, man, you can't say that. You can't say that. But I didn't see it for what he was trying to show me until later. So I gave him a lot of pushback. But here's the deal: is even as his friend, you know, I respected him because one thing he believed in what he was saying. And I said I must not be seeing something he's saying. So I had to keep an open mind. I keep opening my mind. I keep opening my mind to see what he was saying. When I got it, I was like, oh my God, I knew that. I knew it. I just didn't know it the way he was saying. And then once I saw it, I was like, he's so right. There's so many rights here. And yeah, we've had discussions, recently, in our house. It hasn't led to any, say, heavy, confrontation or anything. But there's some truisms there
I-
that,
You
that
know, Jeff. I think people want to know. Like Kevin is one of a kind. Let me say it like
Mhm.
this. He's the first person that I've seen actually be brave enough to come speak against what he saw in society, specifically the what women were not bringing to the table that they thought they were bringing. I mean, basically, he's the first one that willing to speak up to black women in the black community. Like that takes a lot of courage because you're going to get pushback. And my question is, and I guess I want to know, and I'll ask a few questions like, what made him get like that? I mean, how was he raised? I mean, where did this guy get this gumption that he could go tell black American women, what their shortcomings were, knowing they were going to blast him? That's the question I want to ask. But first, you guys, I want you to type in Kevin Samuels in the chat room. Put his whole name in. Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, RIP, rest in power, whatever you choose. Just type Kevin Samuels in the chat room, rest in power. Let's keep this algorithm going. And you guys, if you appreciate this, hit the number 1 button. But I want Kevin Samuels typed in the chat room. Let's make that roll. But yeah, where did this guy come from, Jeff? Where did he come from? I mean, who does that? Did he know he was going to get that type of pushback? I mean, talk to me. I need to know.
Here, the funny thing is, this is the thing. Like, Kevin was an open book. He was an open book, and so much so, he's already. Here's the deal: is he's already told us all. Honestly, he's told us all. He said it. He said it on the show multiple times. If the conversation began at OU when he was down in Norman, Oklahoma, and what was originally the BPU, like Black People's Union, they would have these conversations, about dating and, good men this and men doing this, or, guys, why come the women won't do that, and from the day I met him, he's been unique in the aspect that he didn't mind asking questions about things he didn't understand, but he would also just tell you truthfully as he understood things. But he started way back then having these conversations with women, and quite honestly, I think there's a lot of men, a lot of black men in particular, that have been having these conversations. They just haven't voiced them openly and in public. Kevin would have conversations with people because one thing about Kevin, he's very self-assured of himself.
Mm-hmm.
And with that self-assurance came an ability to not, if you want to say, cower down in the moment, to just take it on. So if he said it and he meant it, then he said he meant it, and he would live with what he said. And from the moment I met him, I was like, God, this guy will just tell you what he thinks, and not rudely. There's some people can tell you something very, could be very, very rude, and they don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
He's tactful. People people, that's why I said early on here, I said he had the Kevin Samuels show. And for so many people, they took it as, you know, these things he was saying were so direct or meant to be offensive or things. No, he had a show. He was an entertainer. Kevin was an entertainer. And what he said was some truth, but he had to lay some entertainment in there to keep you watching. So he had to say some outlandish things, right? Just like any comedian says things that can be outlandish sometimes to keep you at the show. But he wanted to feed you. He was trying to feed you and I knowledge that he had acquired. The man, I mean, the man was extremely intelligent. So much so, like, I challenge people, go back and watch his show when he would say, hold on, you've been on my show before, haven't you?
He would.
And he'll repeat when you were on his show and what you talked about and what you said. How that is a level up. Like, that's, you talk about one of a kind, that's one of a kind. You know, there are people on YouTube right now. This is how incredible Kevin is. Like, his show, he had 1 million+ followers on YouTube. He did a show 3 nights a week for over almost 2 hours conversation. Yeah. Kevin understood his monologue. He had a monologue. Y'all think he was talking. No, that was his monologue. He would call me literally an hour before the show. He's spitballing. He's spitballing what he's going to talk about that night. Jeff, I think I want to talk about this. Wait, this. And the call would be like 2 minutes. Okay, I got it. You would hear a 20-minute monologue on his show that he did just spitballed. He didn't have writers. You watch these late night TV shows. They have writers. They have producers. They script their shows out. They sit there and you'll see them. Oh, I have the writers that read the newspaper from yesterday, and they'll spend all day practicing and rehearsing, and they're having to go over it and rewrite the lines and all that. Kevin read nothing on that show. He had a monologue. He spoke it, and it was fluid. There are no notes anywhere from anything he said that he wrote out. It was all off the dome.
Wow.
That's how incredible he was.
How are you dealing with this, Jeff?
Man, I was, I went into, attack mode the other day. And I was good. I have ebbs and flows, man. I allowed emotions to come and hit me and go away. I hadn't watched anything. I hadn't seen anything since Wednesday night. I watched the last show. And I was like, man, that was good. I watched that one. But I hadn't watched anything Kevin's until like 2 days ago. And by accident, I didn't realize I hadn't watched anything. But I really by accident, I hit the button and saw him and heard him, man. And that took me to a place really quickly because I realized, man, my friend's not gonna call me. My friend is not gonna call me today and say, "Hey, bro, what you up to? How y'all doing? Okay, man." And last night I talked to him was Tuesday night, and we didn't always say it, but he said, "Hey, man, I love you." I said, "Man, I love you too." Yeah. And that was the last conversation we had, and to know Kevin, he started saying that as he became famous, and I use that. I tell my fiance, I said, Kevin said, "I love you again," and I knew what it meant to him is like, this is my grounding point. This is my dog. This is my boy. This is my ride or die. But this is my connection to, my roots. It's just me being a guy. Guy from Oklahoma. But this is when I got trouble, I called, this is who I call. And I was like, man, you call me anytime. He called me after. Trust me, I took many calls. 12, my fiance was just, I think, looking at me cross-eyed sometimes. But he called me at 12 o'clock at night after a show. So if he called me, I knew he needed to talk. And I'm not going to get those calls anymore, man. And that's tough. That's tough. Yeah.
Jeff, man, I'm not gonna hold you up any longer. I appreciate this, man, and I appreciate you standing right there with, and I know Kevin appreciates you being right there with his mom and his daughter. For you guys who don't know, Jeff has had to go back to Oklahoma just to tend to Kevin's mom and daughter to make sure they're all right, and then go back to his house. And so you guys are giving me credit, but really it's Kevin. He's the one doing all the work. All I'm doing is, you know, I'm sniping. You see what I mean? I'm dealing with the press and I'm calling people, but Kevin is the one. I mean, Jeff is the one who has to go to his friend's house and see his friend's things and comfort his daughter while she was in her father's house, who recently passed away. So, you know, we all can complain about the toll that, you know, Kevin's loss has taken on us, but none of us can compare to what the family and his best friend Jeff is dealing with. So, you know, I appreciate you, Jeff. I know your voice and you talking to these folks here has helped healing them. And that's why, you know, I appreciate this time. I wanted to just get this out there. You got a lot of crazy narratives out there. You got a lot of crazy people. They're attacking me now, Jeff. You see? They say it's my fault, you know. But what that lets me know, Jeff, is that I'm doing my job. And it's a law tactic. It's something that we do in the practice of law. If the law is not on your side, play up on the facts. If the facts and the law, if the facts are bad and the law is not on your side, then you attack the witness. And if the witness is not easily attacked, then you attack the lawyer. So because we put out so many positive narratives and we've countered all those negative narratives, now they have to come attack me. You see what I'm saying, Jeff? So I'm happy to do it. I appreciate them coming after me as opposed to looking for Kevin's mom and continuing to attack our friend and his legacy and trying to define who he was when he knew who he was. You know, and I'm happy that the Most High prepared me for this. You know, I actually wrote 3 books on conflict. They're at Amazon. I'm a master of conflict. So if they read my books, they would already know what I was doing, but they didn't read. So, you know, they don't know. But
this is, you know, like I said earlier, you know, when this happened, I knew how big Kevin was to a degree. Even I didn't know. I mean, I knew, but I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but when Bernie Mac said, you know, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know, but I knew. And what I did know is his mom and daughter were going to need some real help. And I didn't have the experience, and I knew his mom. And he's in a very small family, and they didn't know what to do. And I knew those calls were coming. So I was frantic. I was trying to reach out to a number of you guys that I knew he had connected with online, and you answered my message. And you know, you said, "Hey, man, whatever she needs, like, let's help mom out." And the testament to being able to say, "Hey, you know, you were busy in your own right."
Yeah. Give me a minute. I'm good. I think I got a fly in here for a minute. Hold on a minute, brother. Oh my God. Boy. Okay. All right, Jeff. Sorry about that, man. I think there's
man, you're good, brother.
Some wind coming in here from somewhere. You know?
No,
But yeah, I take friendship
I was blessed,
seriously.
man. And
yeah.
You talk about giving Kevin his flowers, man, and you post about giving someone flowers when they're here. You know, you stepped up, you know, and you were not in town, you know, and things, you know, you had to amend your schedule, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not as though you were just sitting on the phone and, you know, with your feet up on the back porch. You know, your life is a cabinet too, and you reached out to other people and did things with your firm to help, mom out and his daughter, and you know, this is the true testament of when a person has done some things right and made the right things happen and held truth to who they were. And when he made connections with you, that's the reason he made a connection with you. And that's the reason I say you stepped in and wanted to do right and help his mom out because it's a showing of your heart as well, man. So, I did it for my friend because I've known him a number of years, but you've known him just for a number of months in comparison. But you stepped in the gap, man, and I'm greatly appreciative to what you've done and want to help, maintain for him because he's your friend as well. At least the time, be damned here.
Man,
You
introduced me to my
stepped
fiance.
in.
Man, I've never been happier in my
Yeah,
life than I am right now. And
yeah.
how do you repay that?
And that was that was he bragged about that. Not because
Yeah.
he was trying to get more people into his group. It was like, man, I cannot believe I started a group and these people are going to get married. Man, can you believe that? This is just crazy. He'd always tell me, Jessica, this don't make any sense.
Right.
It don't make any sense to have this happening.
Yeah.
But it does because it was his North Star, man. He wanted people to have better. And people that wanted better, like yourself, like you wanted better, like you wanted something.
Yeah.
And Kevin was like, dang it, these people deserve it. And what can I do to help them get it? And he sacrificed. He took the arrows in the chest and the back from all these people that want to throw hate and shade, throw it. But at the end of the day, guess what? I told him, well, guess what? Dennis Berlin's getting married.
Yeah.
Be damned what you say. He's getting married and he's got a wife. And that woman, here's the deal is that woman, forget the man, that woman found her a man that's going to make her happy. That woman didn't have a man to make her happy. She was looking for, I don't know how old your wife is. She's been looking for a number of years and hadn't found a man that she could have a future and a life with, and she found it. And that doesn't happen without Kevin Samuels taking the heat.
It doesn't happen.
And that's the thing he's most proud about. So forget everything else. Forget all the women who want to hate on him. Guess what? That woman and other women, she's not the only one, but there are other women that just like her got the relationship they've been desperately trying to find their entire life because if they listened to a man that told them, if you do this, you can find a man of your dreams, not the dreams of your TV and movie dreams. I'm talking about the dream of your life. That's what he delivered to her, to you, and that can't be changed.
Man, thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate you, man. You got me in. Usually, okay, so I get angry when I want to get sad. I get angry, and now, I was sad, and so it was easy for me to get angry and attack people who were attacking my friend. But then here you are, you're making me sad, and all these people are watching, and this wind is blowing real hard and getting in my eyes. So I'm gonna let you go, man. Okay, I'm gonna let you go.
All right,
and
brother.
I'll see you soon. And
We'll see each other.
but I appreciate you, man. God bless you. And
Hey,
I'll talk
much
to you
love
soon,
to you,
okay,
brother.
buddy. All right.
Absolutely.
Tell Miss
Absolutely.
Beverly and Caitlin I said hello, okay?
We'll do it.
All right, brother. We're gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back, you guys. Just give me a minute here. Let's watch some violence.
Dramatization.
After a car wreck, you may have to fight with a highly trained insurance company rep whose job is to knock your damaged claim down and out. It's a bad idea to enter the ring alone against a trained boxer, and it could be a bad idea to fight against a big insurance company by yourself. When the bell rings, attorney Dennis Sperling will be there to fight for your rights. If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck, call me, attorney Dennis Sperling, at 866-529-2444. That's 866-529-2444.
Hi, my name is Dennis Berlin. I'm not a lawyer, but my daddy is.
Yeah, if you've been hurt in a car accident, call my daddy.
No need to scream and yell like a little kid.
Yeah, no,
My daddy will fight for your rights.
Yeah, fight for your rights.
If you've been involved in a car accident, call my daddy, returning Dennis Berlin.
Hello, I'm attorney Dennis Sperling. If you've been injured in a car wreck, call me at 713-229-0770.
Call my daddy.
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Dennis Sperling. I'm back. I hope you guys have well, I don't know what to say, but what I do know is this. We have to not only push back against the narrative that has been these folks who are trying to destroy Kevin's legacy are pushing, but we can't just, we gotta go. We've been defense and now we have to go offense. Okay. So what does that mean? What that means is that it's not enough to debunk the other side's narrative. You know, you got to push forward. You got to push your own narrative forward. What I mean is, it's not enough to say Kevin Samuels wasn't a misogynist or a sexist, but you have to define what he was. In this regards, Kevin Samuels was an Afrofuturist. All right. Kevin Samuels was an Afrofuturist. Hit the KS button. I want you guys to hit the KS button for Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels was an Afrofuturist. Now, what is an Afrofuturist? What is Afrofuturism? Right? Well, the first Afrofuturist envisioned a society free from the bondages of oppression, both physical and social. Afrofuturism imagines a future void of white supremacist thought and the structures that violently oppressed Black communities. Afrofuturism evaluates the past and the future to create better conditions for the present generation of Black people through the use of technology, often presented through art, music, and literature. For the uninitiated, Afrofuturism is a fluid ideology shaped by generations of artists, musicians, scholars, and activists whose aim is to reconstruct Blackness in the culture. Isn't that what we saw Kevin Samuels doing all the time? Hit the KS button for Kevin Samuels. Hit the KS button for Kevin Samuels. Matter of fact, I want y'all to hit Jeff. Type in Jeff. We're gonna give a shout out to Jeff. Hit Jeff. Type in JEFF for Kevin's best friend who came in. All right. Now back to Afrofuturism. The culture or Blackness in the culture. It reflected in the life and the works of such figures as Octavia Butler, Sojourner Truth, Sun Ra, Janelle Monáe. Afrofuturism is a cultural blueprint to guide society. The term was first coined by Mark Deary in 1993, but birthed in the minds of enslaved Africans who prayed for their lives and the lives of their descendants along the horrific Middle Passage. The first Afrofuturist envisioned a society free from bondages and oppression. Okay. Afrofuturism, we imagine ourselves and create whole worlds where we not only achieve greatness, but we are thriving in our own culture. This is what Kevin Samuels wanted. See, there's a reason why films like Black Panther and the novels written by Octavia Butler resonate so much with the African diaspora, right? We see possibilities of society of Black men and women that is steeped in our history, but also embraces our advancement while protecting both as a means of survival. Seeing this can and has inspired more to us to invest in our communities, to continue to dominate in the STEM field and the arts, and to move forward in our quest to reach back into our communities by creating opportunities and guidance for our youth. Existing power structures deny a future for Black youth who are fighting for the ability to develop fully into personhood, a privilege historically denied to Black communities. What you saw Kevin Samuels doing is providing that opportunity for them, opening that door so they can see that it could be done. See, we have the power to show what an inclusive future looks like. We can show what housing, transportation, food, water, equality, we can show all that. We can dismantle the systems that have traditionally oppressed us. When a narrative is embedded with those visuals, it takes on more powerful connecting tissue. And that is Afrofuturism. You see, so here's the thing you have to understand. When Kevin Samuels creatively merged the red pill manosphere philosophy and anthropology and digital media and Black America, the current dating market, and his imagined realm of a better future for both men and women, his critics, what did they do? They superficially denied the significance of his work. Why is it, though, that when a female artist releases some controversial work that promotes anti-male narrative, it's celebrated for challenging the dominant societal norms, and those artists become infallible activists? Why is that? Where we've watched as Kevin Samuels not only dissected the current affairs and gave people a one-on-one advice session that they needed in real time, and he also drew people into the new future for Black Americans. That's what he was doing. Now, just as other Afrofuturist works like Black Panther, the movie, have been praised for creating a new visual representation of Black people, one of opulence and success and not struggle and pain, so did Kevin Samuels. People flocked to his YouTube channel night in and night out and waited through his long intermissions. And y'all know they were long. Hit the KS button if you know Kevin Samuels' intermissions were long. Okay, let's do that. Right? But they waited through those long intermissions to hear his beautiful selections of music, to hear about the fragrance and him describe what it smelled like, to look at the candles flickering behind him, right? To see him in his expensive tailored suits with his elaborate ambience that was like no other. Kevin Samuels is legendary. His work, as an image consultant who sought to restore the Black male image and inspire Black Americans to ascend beyond struggle, should also be thought of as an artistic triumph in Black excellence in its highest regard. I am confident that Kevin Samuels' content will be studied in universities, and be considered one of the defining moments in the 21st history. He drew greatness out of people. He always mentioned how he wanted to have a high marriage rate like we had in the 1960s, and femininity and fitness, the fitness level, the Black women in the era. He wanted us to have that. He didn't want to simply replicate old times. He wanted us to carry over the values that made us strong back then to become better people now. And he did what? He created a ripple effect for generations to come. That is who Kevin Samuels was, an Afrofuturist. So when people come with this false narrative of who this Black man was, you explain to him, number one, he's with the ancestors now. But number two, if you didn't know what he was, I'm going to tell you what he was. Afrofuturist. That's where we are now. Hit the KS button, you guys. You appreciate this conversation. If you like this, because a lot of people apparently are, you're upset for some reason. But I think a lot of people are upset because they don't have an opportunity to be upset with Kevin Samuels anymore. And some people are upset because Kevin Samuels is gone. Both are upset that he's missed, whether you loved him or you love not to love him. You're upset. But the man known as Kevin Samuels is no longer with us. As I stated at the top of the show, he's with his mother now. He's back home with his mom. His mother has him now. He's with his mother. He's with his daughter. He's with his best friend. They're looking over him now, and they're preparing to send his body back from whence it came. So this negativity that you all are spewing, it should end at this point. None of us know when the angel of death is going to come visit us. So it is wise not to call the angel or be happy that the angel of death has come to visit someone. So for those of you who are saying negative things about this man who's passed on, recognize that the only person that you're hurting, the only people you're hurting, are his friends like Jeff, who you heard, and his mother, who has to hear these horrible things spoken about her son. Now, you may not have liked Kevin Samuels' criticisms, but what you can't call him is a liar. As you heard Jeff say, he spoke the truth. None of us can deny that, can we? Absolutely not. The man spoke the truth each and every day that he was on YouTube, and we should appreciate that. I appreciate you guys. Hit the KS button. We will continue forward. I think that I've given you guys enough information. I've given you enough of a narrative to keep fighting forward. I want you guys to continue doing that. I'd like for you to make sure you report to me anyone who's using my name and my likeness. Simply email it to sperlingdennis@gmail.com. I'm not necessarily concerned about myself now, but what I will say is this. My friend Kevin Samuels asked me not to attack my detractors online, but my friend is not here now. And so I'm going to do things the way I would normally do them. And I definitely intend to take legal action against those who are using my name and my likeness on YouTube, because you're making money from my name and my likeness. And so if you're making money off of me for free, you have to pay me for that. And so some of you call me I think somebody said he's just an old lying lawyer. Well, I'm going to tell you the truth now. I'm going to probably, more than likely, as soon as my friend is returned to his mother and he's returned, I'm going to take legal action against all of you. And some of you all think you're too small to be sued, but so did the Roaches think they were too small to get a raid. You know, it's a little comedy for me. And so you guys are going to experience a raid. I think there needs to be some regulation in YouTube. I think some of you all are out of pocket and you need to be brought to bear, and you need to stand before a judge, most likely a federal judge, and explain your actions. So, again, I tell you all, I am built for this. This is what I've done for the last 2 going on 3 decades of my life. I enjoy bringing justice, and you have to understand this from my perspective. If I can't fight for myself, how can others expect me to fight for them? And so, of course, I'm not going to allow you all to continue making money off of my image and my name. So you've been warned. If you think I'm joking, I already have the lawsuits prepared, and I'll be filing them in the near future. And there's nowhere for you to run, and there's nowhere for you to hide. Now that you've been warned, I think we're good. But you guys, if you appreciate this show, if you appreciate Jeff coming in, and you see Jeff was broken up, he was crying, and I don't want to say he was crying. I know I'll be tearing up a little bit, but I'm good. It's something in my eye. If you appreciate this show, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm not Kevin Samuels. I don't want his place. I don't even talk about the things that Kevin talks about, and I'm not as smooth as Kevin. Kevin was a smooth dude. Okay. And this is not necessarily what we do here, but I am trying to adapt. I am trying to, be a little bit more what he asked me to be, give you all what you want instead of talking about the stuff that I want to talk about. But it's going to take some time for me to get to that point. But I appreciate you all. I love you all. I do truly love you all. I appreciate y'all. And the thing you brothers have to understand is this: what you saw today is evidence of friendship. And this is what your friends do. Jeff told you. Jeff came looking for me. He called me. Well, I think he called my law office, and I happened to return his phone call. And out of the dozens of phone calls I was receiving, so it's only by chance that I reached out to him, and called him back. So when I called him back, he let me know who he was. We had a brief conversation, and I decided to take this burden upon myself, because Jeff needed help. Kevin was his friend, and and so now, Kevin was my friend, so now Jeff is my friend. And I didn't want my friend who's trying to help our friend to have to go it alone. So that's purely the reason. Okay. I'm here to help my friend. And as soon now that he's back with his mom, I can now begin to grieve. I can begin to let it out because he's home with his mom, and that was my main thing, getting him home, getting his things secure. Jeff got those taken care of. His daughter got those taken care of. And now I can begin to try to let things settle things in myself. But you guys who crossed me, you ones who put that page up, I've let you know already, you're going to get sued. Now, I may not sue everybody, but if I put on your page, you're going to get sued, you're going to get sued. Because, you're going to be the test case. And what's going to happen is I don't want to get distracted, but most likely what's going to happen is anytime you're a YouTuber, you YouTubers out there, you're being harassed by these other YouTubers. They're basically using your material as a flotation device to try to get likes and subscribers. We're going to sue them too. And I'm going to turn this into a business. I got a young associate in my office who's looking forward to this. We're going to sue you guys. We're going to make a business out of it, and we're going to bring YouTube in line. We're tired of seeing all this crap, all this crazy ghetto mess on YouTube. You got people using people's faces and pictures. We're going to bring this to an end. And if you don't believe me, here's what's going to happen. We're going to take your money, and we're probably going to take your channels, and we're going to put you out of business. So you're going to keep doing your live streams and all that, and then Cash App and PayPal and Venmo and your super chats are going to come to our bank accounts. That's what's going to happen. So you're going to learn, things are different now. Uncle D is here, the Blizzard King, and winter is coming. Okay. Well, actually, winter is here. So, and we have, and I think this is my way of being Afrofuturistic. If you don't respect your fellow Black man enough not to slander his name, you don't respect your fellow Black women enough not to talk disparagingly about them, well, then we're going to bring you in line. We're going to punish you like the children that you're behaving like until you act with some level of respectability. That era of ghetto madness and ghetto fabulous and hood stuff, that's over. You see, what you had was Kevin Samuels trying to talk to you in a nice way. And so now I'm bringing the sledgehammer. You're going to fall in line, or you're going to get sued, or you're going to lose the privilege of being on YouTube because you're going to get banned, because YouTube is going to say this person is a liability. They keep getting sued. All right. They don't even have a cash. So I'm just telling you guys. So I would suggest at this point that you fall in line. It costs $402 to file a federal lawsuit. They're ready to go. You can't hide behind your little moniker. I don't care if we don't know your name. We're going to subpoena YouTube. They're going to give us your information. We're going to subpoena AdSense. We're going to get your bank account information. We're going to get your address, your real name, your social security number, your birth date. So this is not doxing. These are lawsuits. So what I suggest you all do is stop it. Clean yourself up. Stop. Create your own content. Be imaginative. You all are Black people. You're some of the most creative people on the planet. Use that magic African. Stop relying on talking bad about other people, especially my friends. My friends, you see how well I respond when my friends need me. So those of you out there who are my friends, I'm going to be here to protect you. And if I can't, I'm going to find somebody that will. But we're going to clean this YouTube. We're going to clean these YouTube streets up. No more of that foolishness. We're not going to have that anymore. And so is just, you can't keep making money off of people, right? Using their name. It's not going to happen. So it's on. But anyway, God bless you all. I love you. I appreciate all of Kevin. I'll talk. We spent too much time talking about the haters. You fans, all these videos I've been receiving talking about how, Kevin Samuels got you married, help you stay together. Y'all got kids together now. That's what his mom needs to see. This poor woman didn't even know her son was famous. And now, it's all upon her once. Her daughter didn't really know. They just heard him mention something. So let's make this a beautiful thing. Let's use this as a coming together. Let's get rid of the riffraff and the low lifes, and let's let the good people come together. All right, that's what we want. And the thing is, and I know I've been talking to black people the whole time, and I know I got some Kevin Samuels fans in here. We got some folks from everywhere. This is good for America. It's good for Black America. What's good for Black America is good for everybody. Okay, if you can see us as low and distraught as we've been as a people over the past 50 years, if the medicine Kevin Samuels brought works for us, it can work for anybody. And that's why, even though he started in the Black community, his message is universal. That's why everybody loves him. That's why everybody appreciates him. Unfortunately, amongst a certain cohort of our own people, he's not loved the way he should be. But the Bible says that a prophet is loved everywhere but his own hometown. So let's understand. But at some point, the truth will get out there. I love you guys. Hit the KS button. If you appreciate this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. But other than that, man, this is Uncle D. I love you guys. And as I always say at this time, I'm out.